Okay, welcome back, Jebel. In this tutorial, we are going to start our app searching for the item that we have lost. Now, I'm on my blocks area here, and remember the design view, it looks like this. Our components, important components we're going to look at today is the text input, which is just here, our find a single item button here, and our label, which is displayed here. Okay, so they're the three components we're going to use in this tutorial. So I'm going back to my blocks. So what I want to happen is, just zoom out so you can see. If you remember from before, we created two variables. One was called lost item, that is going to store the item that we are looking for when we type it in. And I created another variable which contains a list of individual locations where you can maybe find that item. So it'll randomly display one of these items. Okay, let's get going. So first, we need our app to start looking when we click on this button here. Now remember, you can click on it and you can make sure you know what it's called in this section. It's called Find It button. So okay, so I go to my blocks and I'm looking for the Find It button. There it is. Be careful, you are not using the Find Them. We want single items this time. So Find It. So I'm going to drag when to block, when Find button, click. And I'm going to put that onto my block area here. Okay, once that's on there, now what it's going to do, it's going to take whatever the person types in and we'll store it in our memory location. Remember that variable. So we need to use the variable that we created earlier. So I'm just going to scroll down and click on my variables. Now we're looking for the location where we store the item we're looking for. So we need the set to block, and it's this one here. So I'm going to drag that onto there. So remember, that's our variable called lost item. Okay, I'm going to put that in the mouth of my when do block. So it's got the location to store the item. Now we need to take that item from when we type it in. So if you remember in design view, it's typed in just here. So I'm clicking on it just to check the name. Now the name is text input 1. Okay, so I've clicked on here and I'm looking at the component name that I named it. It's called text input 1. So I click on my blocks and I'm looking for text input 1, and there it is. There's my text input 1. That matches the component. So I'm going to click on there. And now what you need to do is you're looking for a special block. Okay, so it's an input block and it's this one here. Can you see? Now don't get mixed up here. So I'm just going to zoom in on that one there. Can you see that it's got text at one end and it's got like a jigsaw joining point here, and that enables you to take whatever's typed into the text input and store it in your variable. So I'm going to drag that and connect that to my variable, and basically what that does is takes whatever's typed in. I'll just show you whatever's typed in here. So imagine I type in the word key and it stores that word in the variable that I called lost item, the item that you've lost. Right, okay, next. What I want to do now is I want to make my app look like it's thinking. Okay, so I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So in the design view, I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. I want a message in this label. So this is a label, so it's going to display text. If I click on it to find out the name, it's called location box. Okay, so just click on it like you did for here when we did the text input. I click on there just to find out the name. It's called location box. Sorry. So go back onto my blocks. I'm looking for location box. It's just there. And now I want the text to display the word looking. So if you look here, I'm just going to put my red line around that. Can you see that's location box text? And then it's got a text entry box here. So I want to use that one. So that is going to display some text. And the text that I want it to display is not label. I want it to display looking. So it's going to display the word looking. I wanted to do it for maybe 2 seconds. So it's having a think for 2 seconds. So you find the wait block. So the wait block will enable my words to display for 2 seconds. So I'm going to go to Control, and then I'm going to drag this yellow wait block. I'm going to put that after my set text box, and I'm going to change seconds to 2 seconds. Now the little trick here is you need to display it 2 seconds, so you need to have the same block on the other side, or the same set of blocks. So the quick way of doing that is right click on the block here and duplicate, and that will give me the exact same looking box text. So I'm going to put that there. Can you see what I've done there? So I've got my location box, which is this label here. It's going to display the text looking for 2 seconds. Then it needs this block at the end, so it makes sure it shows it for one final time before we display the location. And in the next tutorial, we're going to do exactly that. We're going to get our label to display where you can find, or hopefully find, your lost item. But we can test our app now. So at the moment, when we press the Find It button, it should hopefully copy the text we type in and store it in the variable here, and then display the word looking for 2 seconds. Right, should we try that? So if I press Web Preview, and I'm going to type in here key, so I'm looking for my key, and then I'm going to, remember we're using this button, Find It, because it's a single item. So when I click on that, let me just scroll down, I click Find It, and it says the word looking. Okay, so nothing else is going to happen at the moment. It's just going to say looking, and then after, hopefully, here, that will display a random location where hopefully you can find your lost item, and that will be in the next tutorial. So I look forward to seeing you then. Take care and see you soon.